Good afternoon, dear sacred beings of light, bringers of light. My camera is going to be shaking a little bit as I'm shooting this short video with you, carrying my carry-on suitcase while you hear the lawnmower person is behind me. Woo, helicopter, all kinds of activities here today. Let me get this here. I came downstairs as my brother is picking me up to take me to the airport, and it's kind of this interesting bittersweet moment because I'm reflecting of the years and years and years on the road, traveling from country to country for the planetary work, for the crystalline grid activation, the Sophia Christ codes, Yeshua Magdalene codes, anchoring them into all these remote places, from one airplane to another airplane, and when that was completed, the true planetary work has been the inner, this temple, and really does involve those who we have incarnated into as a family member, family unit. So, as some of you watch, I flew back to Maryland for an emergency family thing that had taken place, which I don't get into details. A lot of healing taking place, and the most important thing is we chose to come with our families. Doesn't matter how difficult it is, and what we experience with situations and encounters is a huge part of our Unity Christ consciousness grid inside, not anymore outside. Gaia has already transcended to her fifth dimensional frequency. We don't need to be worried about that at all. So we, as her habitats, and also her children that have borrowed these spirit suits to be here, we have to bring those Christ codes through us, and many of us are working with this. But there's one thing to bring it through, there's another thing to actually live it, to truly live it, to face so many of these very, very 3D experiences, and then choosing to, as we face them, choosing to bring that higher dimensional consciousness of clarity, the crystalline clarity into the situation. But it's got to come to these bodies. It's got to come through our mental plane so we're clear. It's got to come through our emotional body so the emotional body clears from the pain, debris, and challenges that it has faced with family members that often has been part of our childhood experience, traumas. And then once we meet it, we transform it, then that energy as a soul family expands in that family unit. And then it can fully stream those greater goods that await, because otherwise it keeps blocking the energy flow, it keeps blocking the stream of God's consciousness, source consciousness, presence consciousness. It keeps blocking it because it meets the debris and the light doesn't fully radiate through the diamond heart. And so many of you, in those couple of years that I facilitated your crystalline diamond light body activation, there were like over 500 cases all over the world. You become the living transformers. So you've had to transform your template into this crystalline consciousness. And now, as it's come through the bodies, it has to be met with all your encounters. It's all your relations, your encounters, and how are you meeting these encounters? And sometimes you do very well with it, and sometimes, frankly, you just don't. Sometimes you are able to really embody that unity consciousness, your own sacred divine feminine Merkaba, your own sacred divine masculine Merkaba, but it's got to come together in that unity. So that unity vehicle, And that's why the family members are a huge part of that. Are you able to accept them completely with, you know, their beliefs, where they are, while you don't attempt to change them, force anything, and be completely your own, in your own divine alignment. So it's quite the mastery of beingness. And that's why, you know, so much is still focused on the outside about light codes, light languages, transmissions. Yet when it comes to the living, really you have to be living right here, right now, with all that's taking place from that consciousness, and remain in that streaming consciousness. That streaming consciousness is everything. As these things come up, they're given the opportunity to clear, because that's the great present. That's really the gift of it. Yet sometimes when it is so painful, the pain can't be perceived as a gift, because the pain body is responding. Yet in the meantime, the Christ body, the solar body, is like, wow, the Holy Christ itself is like, I'm finally coming in, stretching this. That's why it feels like you're being totally stretched. That's how I felt this week. I shed so much tears, and I'm grateful. Things have, you know, also transformed inside the mitochondria of my cells, and that's part of the presence meditation that I have been involved in for more than a year and a half every single day, and also the one that I taught last year for 30 days, then 60 days, then 90 days, then we regrouped back in December for those who were really committed to also develop their own mastery. So much love. My brother is getting here. I'll cut this short. So much love as I go to the airport, and embrace this now, embrace this divine perfection in the imperfection. It truly is divine. All of it is divine, and we can embrace the divinity of it when that space inside the data has been cleared, especially within the mitochondria, so that we can experience its lightness. How perfect it was that, you know, it seemed it was inconvenient, life got thrown around, yet wow, life just got spiraling around so that it can all be grounded properly. So that's my word for now. Reverend HoniB, sending you all so much love until we speak.